So we're gonna find B so that the slope of AB is as indicated. All right, who's got a plan? Yep.
You're gonna set up the equation. You only really need to do the y, like the change of y and 2 will equal 2.
Actually, no, because the change, oh, wait a minute, yes, Sally, you're right. That kind of magically worked out, it doesn't always work that way
Yeah.
though. But yes, let's go ahead and do it formally, but you are right, your observation is correct. Y minus 2 over 6 minus 3, that would be the slope of the line. Would everybody agree with that? But we know the slope equals 2/3. So Allie says, since this one actually works out to be 3, then clearly y minus 2 has to be 2. Now, that isn't gonna happen over here in this problem. So if we're confronted with this situation, this one's a little different because these already match. But normally, you're going to cross multiply. You know what I'm talking about? So 3y would be 12 and y is 4, which is what Allie knew from the beginning because these two already magically match.
Where'd the 6 go?
Could you do?
This 6 minus 3 is 3.
Oh. Got it.
I'm gonna stand up and do a jumping jack or two to engage that brain. Okay, here we go.
Could we do white? Isn't it supposed to be? Or never mind. We don't have the white.
Yeah, all we're doing, we're not gonna write the equation line. You could actually do it that way, but it would take a lot more work. We're just dealing with slope here, just slope. All right, let's try this one now. Same thing, we know the slope is negative 3/8. So, negative 2 minus negative 8 over x minus 4 has to be negative 3/8. Negative 2 minus negative 8, x minus 4, that's the slope, but we know the slope equals negative 3/8. Make sense? So let's clean it up. What's the top? The top is 6, so 6 over x minus 4 equals negative 3 over 8. So 48 has to equal negative 3x plus 12. Make sure I multiplied right. (36) equals negative 3x. Did you get negative 12?
Yes.
So your x coordinate is negative 12. Now, that strategy will work no matter what the numbers are. You don't need to have specially rigged numbers to make that work. That will work all of the time. Okay. Write the point slope form of the line through 6, negative 2 with a slope of 6. Oh boy. Point slope. Okay.
That like y minus y, and then equal to or something like that, and then the slope and then x minus x.
Exactly. So it's y minus, normally we write y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Now, no one is ever going to say write the formula. So the letters that you use, that's not important. What's important is you know how to use this, how to make an equation. Now, m clearly is the slope, so that's going to go in there. This is the coordinates of the point. So we're going to call our point that they give us, that's our x1, y1. So y minus negative 2 equals 6, x minus 6. So y plus 2 equals 6, x minus 6. Guys, that's it. This is the point slope form. So when you are told to write the point slope form of a line, this is it. You're done. Now in a minute, we're gonna have to do some extra stuff because the directions will change. But right now, that's all there is to it. what's different about this next problem? By the way, do you remember doing that last year? Because you did it a lot. What's different about the next one?
You have to find the slope.
You have to find the slope. Here, we are just given 2 points. And so the first thing we need to do is figure out the slope, so we have a number to put here. So here we go. Did you get 2? Now remember, to write that equation, we need a point. We need an x and a y to plug in here. Do you think it matters which point we pick? Nope, so you're gonna pick the one that looks like the easiest for you. It really makes no difference. So if I just pick the first one, it doesn't matter. Y minus 5 equals 2x plus 2. If you pick the other one, y minus 17 equals 2x minus 4. Now, believe it or not, kids, if you got y by itself, these would match. These are the same equation. They just look different. It makes no difference which one you do. All right, a couple more. Parallel to this line and containing this point. So we want to be parallel to this one and containing this. All right, so we're writing equation 1. So we're shooting for the same thing. We want something to look like this. What do you think? Sharon, do you remember anything about all this?
Do you plug in the coordinates into the x and y?
I am going to, but not yet, not into that equation. What am I gonna use this equation for? To find the slope. Now, to find the slope, don't we have to have our equation in slope-intercept form? So you're gonna take this equation, because here's m, here's the slope. You're gonna take this equation and get y by itself. So negative 1/4 x plus 5 halves, if I get y by itself. Don't get all hung up, this number's not the important one. This is the important one, right? If the lines are parallel, what's that mean? Same slope. So y plus 1, I'm using my point that they gave me, equals negative 1/4 x minus 1. Is that okay? How about this one? Hey guys, how come you guys have so much more enthusiasm before lunch? Jake,
Do you mean to tell you which I got or what to do?
what you do?
Well, you're gonna subtract the 2x over and then divide by -6, so you're gonna get 1/3 as your slope. And then when you're rewriting it, it'll just be y minus 7 is equal to 3. And they are, -3 x plus 3.
All right, let's talk about what he did. Very nicely done, thank you. So, first of all, he needs a slope. So he took the equation that we started with, just like we did over here, and we got y by itself. Now, again, please don't worry about this number. That isn't the important one. This is what matters. So the slope of the given line is 1/3. If we were doing a parallel equation, we would use 1/3, right? But we're doing a perpendicular equation, so we have to do the opposite reciprocal. So we flip this over and make it negative, and there it is. Okay? Now, we're not gonna do all of these in number 4 because they are just more of the same, and you act like you're bored out of your mind. But let's try problem OB, we'll do B, and it says, what's the slope-intercept form of the line through these 2 points? Now, nothing is gonna change. We're gonna do this exactly the way we just did. All right? So we're gonna find the slope. I got 3/4, I could have made a mistake. Is that okay? And then I'm gonna pick a point, doesn't matter. That is exactly what we just did. Right? Now, we're gonna rewrite this equation. We're gonna mess around with it so that it looks like this. In other words, we're gonna get y by itself. So the math is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is how you write your final answer. All right, we'll do one more of those. Are you going to do C or D?
Let's do C.
C? All right, here we go. We're doing C. We want to be parallel to this line. And we want to go through the point -4, -2. Now, what form is that given line? That's point slope. So don't we know that the slope is 2/3? And if we're doing parallel, then we're gonna use 2/3. So y plus 2, here's my point. Y plus 2 equals 2/3 x plus 4. If we were allowed to leave it in point slope, we would be done. But it says slope intercept, so we have to do a little more work, right? What were you gonna say, Peter?
Nothing.
So y plus 2 equals 2/3 x. Remember, when you multiply fractions, it's straight across, so that'll be plus 8/3. And then I need to subtract 2. So keep in mind that 2 is 6/3. So 8/3 minus 6/3 would be 2/3. There is nothing hard about that, but sometimes there is arithmetic. You know, all that fraction stuff. Emma, am I right? Or am I wrong? You're kind of
No, I'm just looking at
scowling
the
or
fractions.
something. You okay with that? So, moral of the story, those problems are identical to the ones you did before. The only difference is the way you write your answer. All right, we're gonna do some problems out of the book. But to avoid having you have to wait for the book to come up, I went ahead and ran off some pages here. So let's take a look at a few problems from your textbook. Remember, you do have a PDF of your textbook. It is available to you at all times. All you have to do is, I don't know, is it downloading or uploading? I don't know, whatever you do, you can have access to the textbook. It is a very old book, so there are probably some cheap copies available to you if you want to buy a hard one. All right, so everybody's got a copy of the book. First problem says, we're on page 41, and we're gonna do problem 45. Okay, this is what math is all about, applying what we know. So take a second, read question 45. Do you have any idea what you're supposed to be doing? Finding the equation, and notice it says linear, so aren't we writing the equation of a line? So what do we need to know? We need to have two things to write the equation of a line. We need to have the slope, and we need to have a point. Because if we have the slope and a point, can't we always write the equation of our line? All right, so let's look at the scenario. These are actually points. Okay? If you think about it, 42,000 was the original value of the house. So at time 0, it was worth 42,000. When was it worth 67.5? After how many years? 8. So do these 2 points make sense to you? And now that I have 2 points, can I find the slope? Sure I can. So the slope is 67.5 minus 42,000 over 8 minus 0. I'm such a wuss, I'm getting out my calculator. I got 3187.5. Did anybody else get that?
Can we do that in fraction form?
Yep, you can do that in fraction form, absolutely. If you prefer fractions, remember on your graphing calculator, you have a button right here, look where I'm pointing, called math. If you press that, the very first option is frac. That will change your number into a fraction, if you prefer the fraction. I think I'm just gonna leave it as a decimal. Okay? Now, if you're really paying attention, then you know the equation of your line is this. Now, I did not write it out with point slope. I just went immediately to that equation. How did I do that? Who sees kind of the special thing that we have going on, Meg?
The original value is 42,000, so that's always going to be like a y-intercept.
Exactly, because if you plot the point 0, 42,000, isn't it on the y-axis? So that is the point where I'm going to cross the y-axis. So when you have 0, comma, this is always, as Meg said, the y-intercept. Now, if you wrote it out, y minus y equals m, x minus x, it's going to come out that way. But if you're paying attention, you can save some time. That's your y-intercept. So there's my equation. Do not let the craziness of the letters bother you. Instead of y, they're using v. Instead of x, they're using t. Don't worry about that. It's the equation of a line. That's it. equation, okay, we're not gonna do that, so let's just forget B, cross out B, we're not ready to graph yet, we're gonna cross that out. Write and solve an equation algebraically to determine how many years after purchase this house will be worth $74,000. You can do this. What are we gonna do? This is our equation, what are we gonna do? Jake?
Once you plug it in, 75,000 for B,
Exactly. So we'll put in 74,000.
or 4,000.
And won't that give me a t-value then? Remember, in your equation, the y's are the values and the x's are the time. So 74, so 32,000. Did you get about 10 years?
Yeah.
Would D be done exactly the same way? Only we would put 80,000 in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. All right, good for that one. 46. Mary Ellen, let's see if we can get this done. Plans to invest this much. Okay, so Mary Ellen has this chunk of money. She's gonna put it in 2 accounts, one of them paying 5% and the rest paying 8%. What are the possible values of X in this situation? Well, you don't need any math to figure that out. X is how much she's putting in the 5% account. How much can she put in that bucket? She can put in nothing, all the way up to 18,000. So the amount of money that she can put into that bucket is everything from 0 to 18,000. Those are the possible X values. That's known as domain. Remember, domain is the X values? So your possible domain is 0 to 18,000. If Mary Ellen invests X dollars at 5%, write an equation that describes the total interest received from both accounts at the end of 1 year. How do you find interest? Multiply what?
Would it be 1.5?
It's 5%, so it would be 0.05 times X. So X is how much money she put in the 5% account. But she's got some more money in the 8% account. How much is in the 8% account? Alan?
18,000 minus.
Exactly, 18,000 minus. Now, you guys are all watching the clock, oh my gosh, she's gonna make a save, no, I'm not. But, if we have $18,000, and I give him, let's say I give him 6,000, then I'm gonna give her 12,000, right? So if I give him X, I'm giving her 18,000 minus X. That's where that came from. So, okay, there's your equation, you're ready to go. I'll see you when I see you. What happens next time I see you? We have a quiz, be ready, you know what's on it.